You're listening to Spark TV, where we bring you daily interviews with real women in business at all stages. I'm your host, Danielle Lewis, and I am so grateful to have you here.
You know, it hasn't always been easy. I mean, when COVID hit, we were getting real big into the restaurant circuit, and there was a test that was happening,
Oh,
a
wow.
chain that was going to put us in many hundreds of locations. And then COVID hit, and we had to change our whole business model to retail. And then again, there were other issues in the plant-based meat category about a year and a half, 2 years ago. So hasn't always been easy, but I will really attribute it to the grit from the earliest days of saying, I made this thing. It's pretty good. People like it. Like, you got to have some grit to say, I'm going to look up the nearest kitchen. I'm going to email so and so. Do they know anyone? I'm going to like not care if like I get things get in the way. One time I was actually pregnant at the beginning when I was starting the business, and I was cooking it in the commercial kitchen. I'd bring my big Vitamix blender and my beets and my all my ingredients out to this kitchen. And I'm like a fast New Yorker, so I was like grabbing all my stuff at once. I wanted to take one trip, not like three. And I tripped on a curb and I cut my face, and I remember at
Oh,
that point,
no.
I was saying to myself, Jenny, you have every excuse to like slow it down. You don't have to start a business right now. Maybe this comes. And then I said, starting this thing despite this. And this is like, and those are the moments, you know? So I think
Yes.
that's why we've succeeded, because there were other times where things got tough and we could have said, you know what? It's not the business it was at one point, or whatever. And we could have like, ended things, and we've like pushed on. And so I feel like that grit, and it comes up in so many aspects of life, not only business. So
Yeah. Oh my God, you're so right. I mean, the skills that we need in business are so transferable to life, you know? And it's interesting. I mean, you mentioned COVID. Obviously, that's a big one that everyone knows. But I always say to people, so I've been in business for 12 years. I'm like, there's been something every year. When you're in
exactly.
business, that is just how
Exactly.
it is.
Right, right. 100%. In fact, I was just on a walk this afternoon, and I was saying to myself, there was a moment in the middle of all of it where we were having customers reaching out because, believe it or not, and this is years ago, and we've fully corrected it since then. It wasn't even our fault, it was the product, but some folks were opening the product and there was mold in the product. And we had to
Mm.
deal with that. Imagine that, like you have a factory making it for you, but how you have to figure that out, and that with people freaking out and all. So like, you're so right. 'Cause I was just reflecting, wow, not only did COVID happen and the plant-based meat market, then this one also. So you're right. It really is never a dull moment. And I'm sure everyone out there who's a mother can testify that's the case in motherhood. It's the case in business. It's the case if you're married. It's the case if you're not married. So no matter what, we're all like kind of up against the wall in this business of life, I like to say. So figuring out how to navigate the world around you in the most productive way, basically.
That wraps another episode of Spark TV. Shout out to Spark TV sponsor IP Australia for their amazing support of the Spark podcast and women in business. And if no one tells you today, you've got this.